Alcatraz is one of the most infamous prisons in the history of the world. For many years, it was thought to have been inescapable. In total, 36 men have attempted to escape from the island prison. Of those 36, 27 were recaptured, 7 were shot and killed as they fled, and at least 3 drowned. But then, 3 men did the unthinkable. Or, did they? In this video, we'll first discuss the fortress known as Alcatraz. Then, we'll delve into the daring escape from the island prison. Finally, we'll wrap up with the mysterious letter claiming to be from one of the escapees. Alcatraz is also known as the Rock. Simply put, it was a fortress of solitude and despair. A prison designed to hold the worst of the worst. The prison sits in the San Francisco Bay, not too far from the Pacific Ocean and just over a mile from land. The island was originally used for a lighthouse, a military fort, and a military prison. Then, in 1934, Alcatraz was modernized and became a federal prison. Alcatraz was designed to hold prisoners who continuously caused trouble at other federal prisons. Some of the most notorious criminals in American history, such as Al Capone and Machine Gun Kelly, were incarcerated there. So, who are the 3 men that potentially did the unthinkable and actually escaped from Alcatraz? Well, 2 of the men were John Anglin and Clarence Anglin, who were brothers. The third was a fellow inmate named Frank Morris, who the Anglin brothers knew from a past jail stint. The 3 men planned their escape for months, setting up a secret workshop where they built and created the things they needed to escape. Obviously, the men's access to tools was limited. So, they created a drill made from the motor of a broken vacuum cleaner. Each man loosened the air vents at the back of their cells by drilling holes around the cover so the entire section of the wall could be removed. Behind the cells was an unguarded utility corridor that led towards the roof of the building. Here, the men could meet at night to build and hide the tools needed for their escape. The escapees stole or gathered over 50 raincoats, which they turned into makeshift life preservers, and a large rubber raft. The seams on the raft were carefully stitched together and vulcanized by the hot steam from pipes in the prison. They also built wooden paddles and converted a musical instrument into a tool to inflate the raft. Another key piece of the plan was to create dummy heads for each man, which were made from paper mache. Then, on the night of June 11, 1962, the final plan was set into motion. The 3 men placed their dummy heads into their beds and entered the utility corridor for the final time. This time, they used a network of pipes to climb up to the roof of their cell block. From there, they exited the building through a vent and then slid down a smokestack to the ground. After this, they climbed over the fence, made their way to shore, and launched the makeshift raincoat raft. What happens next remains shrouded in mystery. Pieces of the raft and paddles washed up near the island, but there was no sign of the escapees. So, did they make it across the bay? Although this is possible, it seems highly unlikely. Although the more than mile-long swim has been completed by elite athletes, with the strong currents and frigid waters, the odds were clearly stacked against the 3 men. Alcatraz officials have suggested the men either drowned or died of hypothermia. However, there has been a few clues that could possibly suggest that the men did make it out alive and were able to live in the shadows. For starters, the mother of John and Clarence Anglin received Christmas cards signed with their names for 3 years following the prison break. The family also released a photo of the brothers that might have been taken in the 1970s, which would be 20 years after their escape. Finally, we have the infamous letter which was received by the San Francisco Police Department in 2013. The letter reads, "My name is John Anglin. I escaped from Alcatraz in June 1962 with my brother Clarence and Frank Morris. I'm 83 years old and in bad shape. I have cancer. Yes, we all made it that night, but barely." The letter also claimed that the other 2 men had already passed away. John Anglin also attempted to make a deal. The letter stated, "If you announce on TV that I will be promised to first go to jail for no more than a year and get medical attention, I will write back to let you know exactly where I am. This is no joke." The FBI examined the letter for fingerprints, DNA, and a handwriting analysis. But the results were inconclusive. The truth is that anyone could have written the letter. By this time, the case had become infamous. In 1979, Hollywood made a movie about the events named Escape from Alcatraz, which starred Clint Eastwood. The FBI investigated the escape for 17 years before closing the case. When the mysterious letter was received in 2013, the case was reopened. However, at this point, the truth seems as elusive as the men themselves. The escape from Alcatraz remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in American history. What do you believe happened to the men? Did they taste the freedom they so desperately sought? Or, did the cold waters of the San Francisco Bay cause their deaths? As always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, we would appreciate a quick click on that subscribe button. That way, you can stay up to date when we release our next video about one of the most interesting things in the world. Until next time, keep exploring,